Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, February 18th. This is our Sunday summaries for the games from last night, and not quite as wide of a spectrum of outcomes like there was Friday night, but still some very interesting games. And so let's go through this real quick. All right, so first game, this was the overtime game of the night. Port Huron and Motor City. It was all Port Huron early. Motor City comes back. Goalies in this game are Sokolov and Babin. Babin back in goal. I was glad to see that stats got fixed because originally they were crediting Gonzalez with all the saves from Motor City, but it got fixed. All right, so this game in Motor City, home and home, as they often do in Michigan. So, Port Huron starts off hot. They get goals from Dan Chartrand and Evan Foley in the first period. Controlled the shots, 13-9 in the first. It's all Port Huron early, but then Motor City, they go to the locker room. Gordy Brown gets them all settled down, regroups, and so Mike Wynn scores at 5:56, and then Scotty Koash scores about 2.5 minutes later. It's tied up. On that, oh no, it wasn't that goal. Yes, it was. That goal, an assist goes to Trevor Babin. So not only did he play well in goal, but he also contributed offensively. So I believe that might be Babin's third assist of the year. I'm going to have to go through the stats now. Jonathan Giuliano, he gets on the board as well. Motor City takes the lead. Late in the third, it is Evan Foley again to tie things up. We go to overtime, and 35 seconds in, TJ Delaney puts home the game winner. And there you go. Motor City ends up with 2 points on the night, and we have a 4-3 win by Motor City. Port Huron now 19, 14, and 5. And Motor City is now 22, 12, and 4. Pretty good crowd in Big Boy, 1358 announced, so that's good. Fully with the 2 goals. Vincent DeCumbus, he's had a very quiet year, but he ended up with 3 helpers on the night. So that was nice to see. Delaney with the game-winning goal. And Josh Colton, also 3 assists. Meanwhile, Sokolov, he ends up stopping 20 for get by him. For Babin, it's 34 saves and an assist. So not a bad little night. All right, so on to Elmira, Blue Ridge, and the second half of a 2-game series up in Elmira. Yesterday, it was Elmira squeaking out a win, and Blue Ridge would find themselves on the short end once again. This game really had a big swing in it. Liskowitz was the goalie last night for Blue Ridge. And then Sammy Bernard, second night in a row, he takes his position in goal. So in the first period, it's a lot of end-to-end action again, like in Friday night. Blue Ridge goes up on top, goal by Joel Frazee. That's a 16:35, so it's 1-0 after 1. In the second, Jacob Wolf scores at 4:51 on the power play. As the period progressed, though, Wolf would find himself on the unfortunate end of things as he ended up taking issue with some shenanigans on the ice from the bench, jumps off the bench, and you know what that means. Bye-bye. So there's going to be at least a 6-game suspension coming for Jacob Wolf early this next week. Unfortunate to see that. And as soon as Wolf ended up leaving, the whole complexion of the game changed. Wolf is really an emotional leader for the Bobcats. So yeah, 1554. David Gaeta, he gets the first of the Elmira goals in the big comeback. Um, Darius Davidson, who's really, really heated up. He scores at 18:01, so now it's 2-2 going into the third. In the third period, Gaeta scores again, 9:15, and then Davidson adds his second at 11:48. So those two players really helped each other out, as both Gaeta and Davidson ended up with 2 goals and 2 assists apiece on the night. Frizzy and Wolf with the goals for Blue Ridge. But in the end, yes, Elmira wins the second in a row. And this is now in their last 8 games. They've won 6. So, yeah, Elmira's had a pretty good spell as of late. And there is the washing machine. That's okay. All right, so Blue Ridge falls to 10, 22, and 5 as Liskovitz stops 38 of 42. And for Elmira, they are now 15, 23, and 0, and they are solidly in 4th place now in that final position for the playoffs. Bernard stops 34 of 36. And so there you go. Elmira, staying on pace. All right, Baton Rouge travels to, well, they didn't travel, but they played Columbus once again. Of course, Friday night was a total disaster. Much better outcome, although they still end up, the Zydeco end up on the short end of the stick. Columbus, this time, only scoring 4 goals. But there was no scoring in the first period, and in that first period, shots were 12-10 Columbus. And then I think Baton Rouge just ran out of steam because it was just Columbus pouring on shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. 31 shots on goal in that second period on goaltender Bailey Stevens. He must feel like a dartboard. But anyway, so yeah, Cody Wickline and Alex Storjahan both score on the power play in that second period. And then in the third, 9 seconds in, it's so demoralizing when you give up a goal that quick. Justin McDonald, he gets on the board at 9 seconds in, so it's 3-0. Tellstrom finally scores at 11:23. A nice setup, nice play. And so that breaks up the shutout. And then Pietrantonio scores shorthanded at 15:16. So it's a 4-1 win. 62 shots on goal for the River Dragons. That's too much. So, yeah, Baton Rouge really needs to figure things out defensively when they well, I can't say get home. Well, they'll be practicing at home, but of course they're still on the road until the 29th. So Tellstrom with the goal. Stevens stops 58 shots, 58 of 62. Bailey Stevens really had an amazing game. It stinks giving up 4 goals, but wow, he turned in a performance. Petrangelo had the goal and assist. Storjahan with the power play goal. And Brendan Colgan, 22 saves. And so now, with this win, Columbus's magic number for clinching a playoff spot is 2 points. So any kind of a win will end up clinching a playoff spot this next week for Columbus. And we're not even to February 20th yet. It's incredible. All right. Carolina, they end up with a split in Mississippi, as I predicted. Anyway, yeah, Carolina goes in and they take care of business. 6:46 into the first period, it's Jan Salak scoring, giving Carolina a much-needed lead. And Joe Shepard and Cody Krapinski, who were in goal on Friday night, they were also in goal last night. So in the second period, Lyriakos it's the first period still. Lyriakos gets on the board, 8:58. An assist from Richard Pinkowski. Yes, we have a Pinkowski sighting, and he gets his first point of the year. You just never know what you're going to see. Still in the first, it is Nate Keeley putting Carolina back up. Mississippi turns around, counters with a goal on the power play from Sam Turner. So going into the second, it's tied up, but Carolina takes control. Goals by Roman Kramer and Gus Ford. Yep, Ford's back. Excuse me, bonehead. Okay, so Carolina is up now 4-2. Luriakos scores on the power play at 16:34, his second goal of the game, and 32nd on the year. That's incredible. So we go into the third period, back and forth, tit for tat, really nothing going on. Dawson Baker finally finds an empty net and seals the deal for Carolina. So it's a 5-3 win. Not many shots in this game. Carolina 28, Mississippi 21. Very unlike a typical Mississippi game. Nate Keeley with a goal and assist, as did Dawson Baker, and Karpinski saves 18 on the night. Meanwhile, Sam Turner also had a goal and assist on the night, and Joe Shepard stopped 23 of 27 in 58-59 of ice time. Good crowd of 3,700 on hand, 3,700 plus, but Mississippi does fall to 18-18-2. Carolina now 26-9-1. And finally, our last game of the night. Danbury takes care of business, a 7-2 win over Watertown. And there's two ways of summing it up this game: power play goals and lack of discipline. Opposite ends of the team. All right, Danbury scores their first 5 goals, and 3 are on the power play. Jonathan Ruiz, Jared Yao, and John Scully all score on the power play in the first period. At one point, Watertown had 8 straight minutes of being shorthanded. You can't play that way. Eli Bouchard got pulled after the Yao goal. Typical Verbeek move. So Kozlowski comes in, but the results are not really any better. Meanwhile, McCollum made the saves he needed to make for the hat tricks. In the second period, the Nicola scored at 2:17. At 2:52, it's Corey Cunningham. It's 5-0. It's a wash at this point. Watertown can't stay out of the box to save their lives. You can't do that. You can't, in today's game, you can't act that way. You can't play that way. Watertown does make it interesting at one point. 2 goals in the span of about 2 minutes, both from Pavlov. He was the offensive force for the Wolves, so it became 5-2. That was in the second period. And then in the third, more penalty shenanigans from Watertown. They ended up with 90 minutes of penalty minutes last night. It just really. Scully scores again on the power play, and Stoychevsky scores on the power play. So 5 power play goals by Danbury. Danbury struggled all year on the power play, but you give somebody that many opportunities, they're going to figure it out. That last night really made power play numbers for Danbury a lot more healthy. And Watertown, they've got to figure something out. 7-2 is the final. Danbury improves to 18-15-4. Watertown is now 12-21-4. Pavlov with the 2 goals. Scully a goal, 2 goals and an assist. Josh LaBelle, 4 assists. Incredible. And McCollum stops 28. Kozlowski stopped 42 of 47. He was the goalie of record. That was in 50 minutes of play. So there you go. There is one game tonight, Danbury and Watertown, at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll see how that ends up wrapping the weekend up. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. We'll catch up with you soon.